Well, it looks like we are ready with Game 3, the first Game 3 out of today, everyone, out of the knockout matches. One team is going to be going home. Is it going to be Strictly Business, or is it going to be Myth Gaming? All right, we're going to see. I really just don't want to see a Bologna ban anymore.
Yeah, might be a throwaway at this point. But then again, we have not seen what it could do in the player's hands here. I'm guessing that the top contestant to pick some bans is going to be AMC, Ullr, and Janus.
I absolutely have to agree with you. Raijin could be up there as well. We saw a lot of good action out of that in game number 1. Very difficult to really stick on a Raijin that's going to be banging those taiko drums, pushing you away.
They banned out Kaeydan's Thor from game 1. Are they going to ban out his Susano from game 2 and let him have Thor?
It is really interesting to me what's going to happen to the assassin bans. We saw a Circuit ban, then a Thor ban, and he did amazing on Susano. So they can't ban all 3. Are they even going to opt for that, or are they just going to ignore that and play the meta that they've established here, which is get rid of the hunters and the mage?
I think
actually, wow.
Yeah, they're not going to necessarily ban away Kaeydan here because they were able to deal with his Susano, eventually banning it out. But the global pressure might be a little bit too much to handle.
True, true. Thor is banned again. It looks like they would rather face a Susano than a Thor. But who knows? We might not even see a Susano pick. Yeah,
they also do respect the Kukulkan being a great flex pick here for Myth Gaming, so smart choice.
Yeah. No.
I wouldn't be surprised if we even see a Ravana ban, but instead it's going to be the Osiris, something that Myth will opt to go for every now and then. It's not too common here in the console to see it, but another Circuit ban really taking that away from Kaeydan.
Well, Delnyy really likes Osiris.
Well, yeah, he kind of does like to play aggressive every now and then, but the way he's been playing recently, I wouldn't be surprised if he leans on something else here.
We're about to find out. I'm hoping, actually, we get to see a Sobek out of him.
Sobek has received a few buffs here and there with his mana consumption, and that could be an option for the soling.
We saw Sobek earlier.
Actually. Yeah.
The amount of pressure that he has and that pluck, oh my gosh.
He doesn't even need blue buff anymore thanks to the mana adjustments. You build him with a Vampiric Shroud, and after that, you're pretty much good to go. You can sustain with your ult, and that's all good. Looking for the first pick here in this set and the picks and bans. I am curious what it'll be. I'm guessing that it's going to be Ullr, and the hunt is on.
Ullr is the first pick for Strictly Business.
And I wonder what that means they're going to pick up after this. Could it be AMC? Or did it not work out for them last game, so they're going to pick something else?
They might hold on to their hunter pick, considering that maybe SB doesn't go for the double hunter composition.
Ooh. They decided to pick up Raijin. Makes sense. Without him being banned out, you do not want to give him to Strictly Business.
Absolutely here. Crimson will opt to go for this pick out of Myth Gaming, and they're going to be able to get the magical damage here as opposed to him playing that Hachiman in game number 1.
This is really interesting to me. If we do not see a Muzen Cup pick here, it really tells me that for the rest of the tournament, Myth do not want to pick AMC and they're not comfortable playing it. It is a high contestation, and now you're giving it up. They will be having Ullr and AMC going into any lane you want. They get free pressure.
You think that they're going to lock it in here, though?
No.
Considering
I think they could if they wanted.
If they wanted to, sure. But the way Myth played the double hunter here, they really got punished for it in that mid game.
True, very true. I mean, that was mostly the fault of not really using actives and relics perfectly, but here we see Tian being locked in for SP. Always a decent pick.
Xing not much of a surprise there as well. And I'm still wondering if Kaeydan is going to be going a tanky support. Oh, we got Janus once again, taking that away from Crimson.
I really like the choice, is what I've been talking about earlier. A good option is to also just take it away. Obviously, Raijin's already picked, so you don't have to take it away in that sense anymore.
Fair enough.
Yes, Huyi, Myth do not like to play a Muzen Cup.
It's just going to be team fight control presence. The Sun's too much to handle. You mark up the Golden Crow, literally anybody, and they're going to melt in that late game.
I'm wondering if that's because Myth realizes that their early game just isn't that strong. Maybe they need to be a bit more passive instead of these aggressive frontliners and pushers, and just take a few minutes till waiting till the mid game comes in.
They didn't really select their frontliners quite yet as opposed to the Geb, right? That's their only like late game peel for your hyper carries, but they still have some warriors to choose from. Kukulkan is banned, Robin is still available.
Another Bologna ban.
Another Bologna ban.
These bans are coming out incredibly quickly here. We saw the Bologna ban. It was actually the Athena ban first, then Bologna, and the split second after RTO immediately. These teams actually, they really do know what they want here. We saw the picks and bans first game going quite kind of slowly, but I feel like they're picking up in pace.
Definitely with game number 3, they're learning a lot about each other, learning about each other's picks and bans and what they can handle. A dodgy ban.
That is very surprising here, considering the fact that There is a Geb here also on the other side. Myth Gaming has that cleanse available, and Daji's not been favored here from PC or the console side of things, but against SB's composition, yeah, Daji might be annoying for the Ullr.
Wow, another kind of taken, like they took the Janus away, they're taking the Susano away.
This is
Kaeydan.
really interesting, yeah. I wonder what jungler SB is going to opt for here. All the comfort picks, all the picks we've seen so far on the jungler, which has been Susano, Thor, and the mythical Circuit.
They hovered Rat before.
So what Kaeydan really likes to play when these gods are off the table is sometimes he'll lean on Fenrir, sometimes he'll lean on also Bastet is another pick that he prefers heavily. But with a Geb selection for Myth Gaming, Inbound is going to be looking for those cleanses, so I don't expect the Fenrir necessarily.
Taking a bit of time with their next pick here, trying to choose, I guess that Susano with the Thor ban and the Susano pick, that kind of threw them for a loop.
Yeah, might as well drain out the clock here. Another 43 seconds remain for SB to lock in their final 2 picks, and it's better to be safe than sorry here. You don't want to throw the clock back to Myth without being absolutely certain of what you want.
Yeah, I'm also really curious to see how Jumpahhhh is going to be doing on an assassin. So far, we've seen him on Ravana and Kokolin, which are frontliners. Now, Susano a bit more cleanup style, and we see Ravana locked in, which is basically a mirror of the last few performances we've seen.
Yeah. Like I said, it definitely seems like Myth is trying to be a bit more passive in the start of this game and waiting for their gods to get a few more levels and to be a bit more scary. Erlang Shen coming out for strictly business.
Very aggressive thus far. Robin and Erlang Shen. Sobek being hovered over by Spin.
I love it.
This double Guardian.
That's going to be a Sobek solo, right?
Yes.
Yes!
Without a doubt. I'm actually very surprised you called it such a long time ago, and here it is on the soul lane for Myth Gaming.
This is why you get the big bucks.
I'm doing pretty well with my calls right now, man. I mean, he just applies so much pressure, and like you were saying earlier, Dimmy, he no longer has to worry about that mana drain.
Yeah.
The heal coming off of it, just from like hitting the minion wave, he can just stay there and do what he does best, and that's bully.
Sobek is a perfect pick if you want to sustain and play for a later game. This is actually, like you said, a very draft that goes into the later game, and hope it works out.
I think Myth Gaming might have this game, and they're going to advance.
All right, guys, it looks like our casters are ready. The picks have been made. This is game number 3 of Strictly Business versus Myth Gaming. Casters, are you guys excited?
We are excited indeed. Thank you so much, Kelly Tolley on the desk there along with Demi. And we see it here. Muzikab neither pick nor ban aggro. We're going into game 3 and they're riding the Ho-Yi train.
Man, Keegs decides that he'd rather have the Ho-Yi into Ullr than the AMC, which is surprising to me because I really feel like AMC has a very good lane matchup up against Ullr. I mean, take a look at the last game. Keegs doesn't really do a lot through the first early stages. Then once he gets out of that laning phase, that's when he really starts to make the impact. But I mean, you can't argue with him. When your star player says, this is what I want into this matchup, you listen.
And we saw some of the things that were really impactful for him in that game, too, when he played the Ullr. A lot of those axe stuns forcing relics were a big deal for them. So if he can at least mimic some of that with the Hu-Yi stun, they might still be able to get a similar impact, at least in that regard. These two teams, though, running at each other might be a bit of a meetup over here. Ryan Jarman gonna take a little bit of poke by being the furthest one up. Actually, Blink comes out inbound, knocks him off. Ryan Jarman very low, choosing to run away from the rest of his team to try and split the focus. He is gonna be able to make it out of that one though, without having to give up too much, and Blink down for Myth.
Yeah, Delnyy, if he would have hit that pluck, I think that's probably first blood for Myth, and surprised to see Delnyy miss a pluck. Sobek is kind of his god. I mean, that's who he really made his name with at the beginning parts of this season. He's very, very comfortable on this god, so I'm sure that he'll try and do a little bit better as the game goes on.
Ninja Tab, I already here for KeegsMate, so Keegs is ready to roll here. Both sprints, we're using that engagement as well by Myth and Strictly Business, so those are going to be on cooldown. It is pretty early though, minions hadn't even come out just yet, so I mean that might not be too big a deal, but those relics were expended, and Fatal Ghost actually here along with Oboronic in the mid up against Crimson alone.
And this is, again, when you see the Hunter mid, it's because a team wants to use the pressure that an ADC can provide in the mid lane to be flexible with where they want to go. In this situation, Strictly Business realizes that Myth is doing their own speed buff, so they try and invade the red. And again, Matt Koiz just gets away with taking the 2 minis off of that red buff. Inbound needs to be there to try and stop that. If Strictly Business move on, look for either Astral Authority or Obey Alliance, whoever it is, to deny that guaranteed farm to Matt Koiz. It's allowing him to get level 2 very easily without punish.
And it looks like Myth Gaming are putting their focus on the jungle camps as well, along with Strictly Business. They start at those camps. They end up actually getting the Fire Elementals do Strictly Business, and now are finally meeting back in the lane for the solo jungle side here, where we're going to see Kaeydan, Ryan, Jarman going up against Jumpahhhh and Delnyy.
There's actually very good timing by Strictly Business, because these oracles can go down and look at exactly where Fatal Ghost is going, over to the left side to pick up the remnants of the wave that Matt Koiz began to clear, and all of a sudden he's in a good spot. He's given pressure to oBoronic in that mid lane where Raijin would normally have it, and he can now transition over and get that guaranteed safe farm on the left-hand side. Well timed by SB.
Yeah, and that's both those neutral camps rather that are in their favor. The Elementals on the right and then the Oracles over on the left-hand side too. So Strictly Business, the ones with the pressure basically across the map so far. Fatal Ghost and Matt Koiz have Inbound and KeegsMate pushed up to their tower line with that pressure from the Ullr. How well Keegs can keep up with that, though, is going to be a big factor over here in this lane.
oBoronic starting with the uncommon sash, going to be rushing a Warlock sash onto Janus, and can't say I'm a big fan of this build path. Janus does excellent damage once you finish off your boots. If you have a starter item and pick up boots, he does relevant burst damage through the early game. Now his damage falls off in the mid and then picks up in the late, as it always has. But Janus is just a safe god that I don't really feel the need to get Warlock Sash on him very often, and I feel like going for some CDR, kind of utilizing that utility that through space and time can bring, and being a little bit more liberal with that in your portals, with the 10% CDR that Sands of Time gives you, could have ended up being a little bit more impactful for oBoronic.
oBoronic definitely looked perhaps worried about some of the pressure that he might be feeling from Myth Gaming, so goes with that start. Over here on the solo side, though, Delnyy is on that Sobek pick. You mentioned it's one that he's very comfortable on, and Guardians are pretty strong right now, so he's going to be looking to try and get the most he can out of this Sobek.
And Ryan Jarman really needs to take that knowledge and understand that he has to try and get pressure early on in this lane, try and get some invades going, stop Delnyy from securing his own blue buff, at least make him split the buff while you can solo your own. It's things like that that can get you incremental leads, where obviously Ryan Jarman would like to be stealing buffs away all by himself, would like to be rotating in and doing things, and that's not always an option. But forcing Guardian solos to split buffs instead of being able to solo them is a way to kind of get a small lead for yourself.
And those incremental leads, we're seeing them come into impact here for Ryan, Jarman, and Kaeydan. They ticked over to level 5, just a little bit ahead of Delnyy and Jumpahhhh. Delnyy and Jumpahhhh just now got there, so there wasn't really a chance for them to use those ultimates before their counterparts had them, but it is indicative of the bit of a lead they had. And now Strictly Business are here for the spawn of this speed buff. Over there is Kaeydan along with Jumpahhhh to try and fight it out.
Both Matt Koiz, Delnyy, and Crimson, all three were in base. It was a good idea to invade. Here comes Through Space and Time, just trying to support. This is where I like to see that utility used.
Jumpahhh's actually blinked back in here, forced to try and use Purification to keep himself alive, but to no avail. Kaeydan gets first blood here with this by
nice
double portal, actually. Really good there from oBoronic to lock down Inbound and Delnyy for the moment, but going up into the Taiko drums is Crimson trying to lock down Kaeydan. Cataclysm comes out too. Inbound gets the first kill for Myth Gaming, ends up being 1-for-1, and Delnyy plucks back in Ryan Jarman.
Ryan Jarman completely out of mana, no transformation, but he is going to get a heal pretty soon. But look at Crimson's positioning, just waiting for him underneath. No mana here for Ryan Jarman.
Perfectly done to cut him off, but Matt Koiz comes in and gets 3 members of the Whirlwind of Rage and steal. It wasn't quite enough, though, to keep Ryan Jarman alive, but I love the effort. Delnyy ends up getting credit for that one, sitting at 1-0-1 and feeling real comfortable on the Sobek.
I was really critical of the back timing there of Myth Gaming with all 3 members there, but they got to the buff in time to try and defend it, and it ends up going in Myth's favor. Now, SB did get first blood and the buff, so overall, I think SB ends up a little bit ahead, but the kills go in favor of Myth Gaming.
And they get him onto some priority targets here as Inbound's in trouble, as is Fatal Ghost having to jump away from KeegsMate portal there. Well placed to get him out of danger, out of trouble, and instead able to back up. But there's been swinging on every side of the map here, it looks like so far. Fatal Ghost does have to take a trip back to base, giving a little bit of pressure to Myth in that long lane.
Now, Fatal Ghost has to use the Purification beads there, and it looks like he's a little bit down overall to KeegsMate, but keep in mind that he just invaded that red buff. I mean, this experience per minute still in KeegsMate's favor, but Fatal Ghost is still in a good spot right now.
Blink by Kaeydan over the wall, forces Crimson to back out of there, but Crimson remains calm, holds on to the Purification beads, so yes, he is forced to back, but doesn't have to give up any of those big, important relic cooldown timers or anything like that, while Caden's gonna have to wait a little while before he can blink initiate again.
Exactly, it's just the fact that Mystic Rush was still on cooldown from Kaeydan using it to find first blood onto Jumpahhhh earlier on. That's the only thing that saves Crimson's life. That, and the fact that oBoronic was completely out of mana, because through space and time certainly would have been enough to confirm that kill for SB.
Ryan Jarman over here having a good time farming by himself. As you mentioned earlier, though, oBoronic has finished up that Warlock Sash and is now working on getting those stacks up going to try and keep himself a little bit more healthy, as opposed to Crimson, rather, who's going with those cooldown boots start, trying to just make sure that he's able to cycle through those abilities as often as he can.
Interesting. We don't see a lot of cooldown boots on Raijin, and really the only mage that we see cooldown boots are on is really Janus or the Morrigan, where that CDR is really impactful. I think I would have preferred to see penetration boots here for Crimson, especially when you factor in the warrior jungle for Strictly Business, who's Kaeydan's just going to be getting magical protection just by leveling up. It's part of the warrior class. So getting that extra little bit of penetration early on can be really beneficial. Crimson's trying to be a little bit safer, I think, with that CDR.
Right now, Strictly Business still a little bit ahead as far as the gold is concerned, maybe like 400 or 500 in their favor, despite what we saw earlier with 2 kills in favor of Myth. KeegsMate trading out with Fatal Ghost here, actually getting a little bit of the better of him. He's level 9 to Fatal Ghost, well, who just ticked over to 9 here at this last moment. KeegsMate, though, good awareness. There was some trouble coming for him there with Koiz. He's able to back up and make sure he doesn't get 2v1'd.
Good idea by Keegs to play aggressive in that scenario. Remember, Fatal Ghost speed's still down from the last time he got chased out by the red buff. So dropping it, trying to get that solo kill, just trying to get any sort of lead that you can in that duo lane.
Fatal Ghost takes a huge ricochet from KeegsMate, who's looking for the solo, dancing in the minions to try and stay alive. Keegs not able to find him with the jump. Fatal Ghost is out of there, at least for the moment. Keegs though has the ricochet, and he hits it! Takes Fatal Ghost down with a solo kill!
I was just about to blow Keegs up, because all he has to do is wait and hold the jump until Fatal Ghost uses his, but then he's gonna just shut me up by hitting an insane ricochet. Great ricochet on the first time too, to even bring him that low.
Delnyy, though, continuing to put pressure on Ryan Jarman. That's enough, actually, to get the sprint out of the solo laner. One more relic on cooldown for Strictly Business, as Myth Gaming coming alive. Game 1, yes, was a little bit rough for Magro. They stick with them, though, in Game 2. They blow that one open, and looking good here in this game as well.
Again, they have to be worried about their objectives. That kills are great, but you need the objectives. Kills like that are extra great whenever you get to really start to feel some confidence, and Keegs, when he plays with confidence, is nearly impossible to stop.
Yeah, and you won't find me questioning his decision not to pick up that Amuzin Cobb. Not if he continues to hit ricochets like that, aggro. He's looking, like you said, confident, comfortable here on the Hou-Yi. The most important thing you can do going into a Game 3 for your tournament life here at HRX.
Exactly. Like I said, when your star player says, this is what I want, you say, are you sure? If you really disagree. Otherwise, you just lock it in. The only other option is to say, are you sure? Yes, you lock it in anyways, because you want that guy to be ready to go and to feel like he's going to dominate that lane, and so far, Keegs really has.
Keegs already does have his Devil Gloves online too. As you mentioned, no starter item for him. So yes, Ninja Tabe already done, already stacking up those Devourer's Gauntlets, so he can continue to take these trades with Fatal Ghost, and very likely those are going to continue to be in his favor as well. He is, again, ahead of him in experience. We've seen, though, this Ullr, even if it falls behind a little bit early, can definitely still be impactful later on.
Fatal Ghost worried that Myth was on that Gold Fury, which should be a tell to Myth that there is no ward coverage at all for Strictly Business on that top side of the Gold Fury map.
We talked a little bit earlier here, Aggro, about the build Crimson was going with those cooldown boots. Now he's following it up, though, with the Doom Orb, trying to get himself some damage after that cooldown selection with the first item.
Sure, and this kind of makes up for a little bit of the damage that he lost by not going penetration boots, but he still, while he has a little bit more damage, doesn't have the penetration to punch through what Kaeydan's going to have.
Good pluck there by Delnyy, gets good damage onto Kaeydan, forces his ultimate now. He knew he had Jumpahhhh waiting in the wings to try and set it up. Through space and time has come through the team fight, as well as oBoronic wants to try to come and help even up the numbers a little bit, but Myth Gaming have already given up the chase here for now, so they are able to pull that ultimate out of the mid laner.
There was a lot of ultimates used there. 3 ults on that right side of the map, including the one from mid, thrown by oBoronic. Delnyy really only the one to expend anything. He used his ult and his sprint, though it looks like Inbowned may have used Cataclysm to try and keep that fight going in Myth Gaming's favor as well.
Delnyy has been playing this Sobek so well over here. A big part of what's looking good here for Myth Gaming right now. Sitting at 1-0-1, has that Breastplate of Valor completed as well. Why he's trading so effectively with Ryan Jarman right now. He really doesn't care too much about what Ryan Jarman is trying to do for him on this right-hand side. On the left-hand side, though, Matt Koiz and oBoronic looks like they were under a little bit of duress, but Myth Gaming had to give it up.
This is a good idea to try and pull this Gold Fury right now because Fatal Ghost is just back to finish off Devourer's gauntlets, and Keegs already has 50+ stacks on his Devo gloves, so that would have been a good opportunity for Myth Gaming to at least force a fight around the Gold Fury, but didn't quite get the opportunity.
Delnyy now trying to take away the speed buff of Kaeydan, who's here, has to just watch it happen right in his face since he was charging that lurking in the waters. Ryan Jarman comes around the corner at a good time, though, to prevent Delnyy from furthering his aggression there onto Kaeydan. Instead, they'll fight here over the speed buff. Ryan Jarman is able to pick it up, and Jumpahhhh gonna have to back away for now. Ultimate, though, actually committed from Keegs.
There it is, gets the stun in the Suns, but not quite enough damage. Again, I'd like to see Keegs be more patient with that jump. He's trying to interrupt Fatal Ghost, keep him in the Suns for a little bit longer, but Ullr's jump is just as long as hi-rez and about the same speed, so you can really chase very effectively with that. Keegs looking good, but still needs to have a little bit more patience.
Oracle's now going the way of Myth Gaming, as despite the 3-1 lead, they're only ahead of them, at least gold-wise, by like maybe 1 to 200. Really nothing at all to write home about 12 minutes into the game. Where they are starting to enjoy a little bit of some leads, though, is they're creating the solo lane between Delnyy and Ryan Jarman, and just a little bit of distance between Keegs and Fatal Ghost, so that's what's a little bit more impactful for them right now.
The solo lane lead is the one that I'm really looking at, though. I mean, 2 levels for Delnyy, and Sobek from ahead coming out of the solo lane is a nightmare to deal with. I mean, he can solo down Fatal Ghost all by himself and forget zoning someone. He'll just kill them and then still be tanky enough to be able to escape. Solo Sobek is one of the hardest things to deal with as a backliner.
Ryan Jarman trying his best, though, to go in and smack with him, but as he said, really difficult to trade with him. Myth Gaming actually trying to force Strictly Business over here to that Gold Fury. They've got it down to about half health or so, but Matt Koiz and Fatal Ghost are right here in their face looking at it. Looking for the stun with Keegs, but doesn't quite get it. Through Space and Time comes through, doesn't quite hit anyone either, though, but it's just a win to force him off the Gold Fury at this point.
Good idea, good reaction by oBoronic, though, because if Matt Koiz gets stunned there, SB either needs to engage or get Matt Koiz out of danger, and that Through Space and Time would have allowed Strictly Business the option of an extra way to help him.
Cataclysm on the Matt Koiz. Jumpahhhh is here in tow, goes for the pull, but not quite able to hit it. Uses the Whirlwind Array to steal, keep him CC. But another hot ricochet from Keegs. Are you kidding me?
Man, he is on fire right now, and sometimes that's all you need. Gold Fury now pulled by Myth Gaming, and Keegs still has his ult, all 4 ults, except for inbounds available for Myth.
And Matt Koiz not here to be any kind of frontline for him. Portal is used to try and create an avenue for them to get in, but blinking over his inbound, doesn't quite get the knockup, but forces out the overhead kick anyway. Myth Gaming gets the Gold Fury. Crimson's up on the Taiko drums. They're able to get Fatal Ghost pulled in to a whole heap of trouble. Aegis keeps him alive for the moment, but not long enough. Delnyy gets credit for that one. Kaeydan now surrounded by red jerseys. Keegs, another kill for the Hunter for Myth Gaming as they're up 6-1.
Man, everyone just hop on in because Keegs' backpack is open for business. 3-0-1, top of the net worth charts. And Myth is just making plays off the back of Keegs. This has been so important for Myth Gaming. They didn't have Keegs until late in the season when he joins the squad, and this team went from a good squad to one that has a chance to go to the finals.
And Ryan Jarman just getting aggressed on here by Myth Gaming. I was about to say he's out of position, but he's in his own jungle. Just happened to be near the speed buff. They were happy to take him and the speed buff as well. Now able to come back in towards the Portal Demon and take that one to aggro and start trying to push that lead out. They're already up about 3,000 gold, and they'll have a chance to go back and spend it.
Easily with taking this Portal Demon, they'll be right back. They might even have a Fire Giant opportunity because Keegs is going to have quite a bit to spend and really get a big power spike, though he's going to head back to the left-hand side with Ryan Jarman up at about 5 seconds. I think that FG window is really closed for Myth Gaming. Someone from SB has to try and check Keegs, but how do you do it? Because now he's way ahead. He's level 16. It's too hard for Ryan Jarman to be 4 levels down and really frontline effectively, especially with Keegs going for this Aussie, that double lifesteal build. He's not going to be nearly as worried about the 2 sets of Thorns on the side of SB between the 2 warriors.
It's kind of hard to check Keegs right now. He has the best friend you can ask for in a level 16 Sobek for Delnyy coming out of the solo lane. Matt Koiz, though, is dancing in the sun. Keegs with yet another kill for 0-1, shutting them down in the mid lane. Tier 1 tower is under the scope of Myth Gaming. Actually going in is Jumpahhhh aggressively pulling in oBoronic. He able to make it through the portal and live for now, but that's all the space they needed. Crimson, though, did have to use Aegis.
Keegs on point with that stun. Kaeydan gonna go up and down, looking for the kill onto Crimson. He can't find it, but Fatal Ghost might be able to with the hail of arrows.
Good shot over the wall. That was enough. Ryan Jarman gets the two-man taunt and then immediately goes into the thorns. Jumpahhhh doesn't care, though. Fatal Ghost has been eliminated from this battle. Ryan Jarman knocked up. Ryan Jarman knocked down. Double kill for Jumpahhhh now. 3 for 1 in favor of Myth Gaming. They continue to push down middle lane.
Good poke by oBoronic, but he doesn't have his ultimate. Matt Koiz does, but Keegs looking for oBoronic in that jungle. Needs to be focusing this tier 2 if that's what Myth Gaming want to go for, but with Jumpahhhh and Inbowned just being a little bit too low, Myth decide to back it up.
Myth do indeed decide to back it up. Not quite able to get that tier 2 in mid lane, but I mean, after everything they got before, you can't exactly call that one a problem. Now sitting at 42 for really 43,000 gold, about 6K in the lead and 11-2 in the kills. And this is the first time we've seen a game break open this early. Usually it's been like 22, 23 minutes in, but Myth Gaming, as you said, off the back of Keegs, have kind of been in control here for a while.
They really have, and what a turnaround for them. I mean, game 1, Keegs is quiet and they lose the game. Game 2, he makes a big play to chase out Beads, which then allows Crimson to make a play with the rest of his team, and Myth Gaming start to win off of the back of that play from their Hunter. In this game, I mean, what else can you say about the guy? He has been lights out with these ricochets, 4-0 and 4, way up on the net worth. He's just in player damage as well. He's just been doing it all for Myth Gaming. It's not often that you can point to one player and say, this guy has put his team in the position to win the game nearly single-handedly, but Keegs has this game.
And that's what good players do. They make the players around them better aggro. Even Jumpahhhh has looked excellent this game because of the pressure from Delnyy and Keegs as they continue to push in. Matt Koiz already at half health. Whirlwind, a Raijin steal. It's not to pull him back in, but the sun drop right down on top of him. Tier 2 has really been the focus. It's fully healthy as Fatal Ghost has the beads just so he doesn't get pulled back in. Through space and time in the bag. Kaeydan is actually going aggressively trying to find Crimson, but it's 2 kills that come out. Jumpahhhh gets one, and Kaeydan and Matt Koiz both fall. oBoronic is able to find Crimson as he tries to escape, but he's getting forced away by Inbound.
oBoronic no beads, but he's going to be able to escape. Wise decision by Inbound to give up that chase. Jarman, meanwhile, wasn't even there for that fight. Instead, stays on the right-hand side and takes down this tier 1 tower. Good choice. He's not very effective in this team fight. It's the nicest way that I can say it. He's 0-3, only level 14. He doesn't even have 3 items completed yet, so he's not going to be effective. Get him some farm, get your team some farm. They end up getting 1 kill, but still losing the tier 2 tower. Gold Fury's about to spawn in less than 10 seconds. This is where you need to have your team try and maybe step up, but honestly, Finch, I really don't know if Strictly Business can even afford to try and contest this gold.
Not right now. Myth Gaming are so far out in front that it'd be difficult for Strictly Business to make that kind of defense. You mentioned Ryan Jarman and how not very effective he is right now. Same for Fatal Ghost. The lane opponents right now, Delnyy and KeegsMate, who had such a stellar game so far, really are the ones that are suffering in this one. Not able to have much of an impact when these team fights do end up breaking out. As you mentioned, Gold Fury is right now available. Portal Demon will be respawning before too long here in just a few more moments, and that's when Myth Gaming will have another chance to spread that lead even further.
And this is what's so scary about Myth, really in any sort of situation like this, where you pass up on a premier pick that everyone really expects. In this game, it was Amuz and Cobb to pick something else, and Keegs is having the game of his life on Hu Yi. If Myth move on, now teams have to sit there and think, well, if we ban AMC, he just takes Hu Yi and triple ricochets us into the grave. You're really making teams make a choice later on, which is really difficult to deal with.
Cataclysm comes out on the Matt Koiz. Matt Koiz is already very low in the suns. Jumpahhhh ends up getting credit for that one. They pulled the Gold Fury, baited him in, and now they're going right back to it. No way for Strictly Business to get in and try and defend this one. Gold Fury going to Myth.
oBoronic is getting chased all the way back to his back harpies. Gold Fury is about to go down. It's going to be the second one of the game for Myth. And all of a sudden, that gold lead, it's almost 10,000 already. We're only 20 minutes in.
Yeah, this is starting to get scary if you're Strictly Business. This is very important. This is a best of 3. We're in the semifinals right now. There's no second chances. There's no retries. The winner of this one goes right on to the finals. And Fatal Ghost just got his Aegis forced out there by Jumpahhhh. That's the pressure that he's been able to have thanks to Delnyy and Keegs going off this game.
Myth just heading right back back towards the objectives. They get the tier 2, and we talked about it so much in games 1 and 2, Finch. It was Myth being able to get objectives. Strictly Business got team fights, no objectives. And this is the mindset that you really need to have. That's why Myth has been able to jump out to such a big lead in this game. It's because of the objective mindset. They let Keegs, triple bounce someone with his eyes closed, and then they go and get a Gold Fury on the back end.
And we've been talking so well about that objective play and how they've been able to go after these objectives afterwards. A big part of it, too, Inbound's been playing well for him, keeping everyone alive, keeping them healthy. Geb's been a big pick in this set so far, Ryan, and I think we're seeing why. When they win these fights, you're so healthy, you have to go for these objectives afterwards, and now Myth is ready to start pulling these objectives, the Fire Giant.
Keegs has that double lifesteal. Matt Koiz in some trouble. He's going to get his ultimate forced out just from the pressure of that Gem of Isolation from Crimson.
Pulled back in there by Delnyy. It's Kaeydan who's in trouble. Kaeydan's gone. Crimson gets credit for that kill. One already fallen for Strictly Business. No way to contest the Fire Giant at this point. Myth Gaming up 15-3, and Myth Gaming only have one tier 2 tower and 3 Phoenixes between themselves and a trip to the finals at HRX.
What a story for this team. Totally mentioned it on the desk. They weren't even supposed to be here.
No.
They were on the verge of elimination, and really everyone expected them to be eliminated, but Kaz Esports sends them, and man, they are making the most out of their trip here to Atlanta.
Yeah, and Kaz Esports really didn't have much to gain from that at all. Instead, they go and have the performance of their lives. Now we see Myth Gaming having the performance of their lives, looking to try and clean this one up. Phoenix on the right-hand side, on the solo side of the map, is going to be the call from them. Everyone's back and respawn, so they can make their full defense.
Delnyy misses the pluck. He's going to have to use the Thorns. Good shield by Inbound, but here's the damage right onto Matt Koiz. Crimson gets his second.
Ryan Jarman forced out of there as well. 5 members of Myth Gaming still standing strong. Delnyy is low, but really not a way to get in there. Kaeydan is the one that goes over the top. oBoronic gets credit for the kill. Knockup comes through. Jumpahhhh still alive for the moment, not able to really get what they were looking for. A strong defense comes out for Strictly Business, who say, don't count us out just yet.
Phoenix still stands. Keegs trying to bait SB in. He's got his Guardians there waiting in the jungle, but SB don't take the bait. Excellent defense there, and Delnyy missing the pluck really sets that all off in SB's favor. I mean, he's just deep into that jungle, and a great axe by Ullr right underneath that Phoenix, I should say. Even with the Geb shield from Inbound, still not enough to really get that initiation going in Myth's favor.
And they just lost game 2, Ryan, and for all intents and purposes, they've been losing this game the whole time. How big of a confidence booster is it to have that kind of defense up against a full 5-man Fire Giant team?
It's big, especially in some ways. I think it almost helps to have the enemy mess up and then be able to capitalize off of that, because you can tell yourself, oh, they're going to throw. They're going to miss another pluck. Delny's going to put himself in a bad spot. Keegs is going to jump in into 3 of us and try and make a play. You kind of take the ball and put it in their court a little bit, and it takes some of the pressure off of your own side. I feel like that's something that some teams can really thrive off of, is just the mindset that, Myth, not only have they not made mistakes, but they've gotten, let's be honest, lucky with these ricochets so far. So it's almost a feeling of, hey, maybe this luck is running out, and we're going to have a chance to turn it around.
Well, Myth Gaming are going for their second attempt here at the Phoenix. Only person who lost their Fire Giant was Delnyy, but the blink in immediately from Inbound for the Cataclysm. The immediate response, though, with the Whirlwind of Waves and Steel. Kaeydan is the one who's in the front, getting all the focus and all the damage. They're going to back up for now. It's the Phoenix now who's down to half health.
Oh!
Crimson takes down Matt Koiz. Jumpahhhh takes down Ryan Jarman. Where was the defense we just saw a moment ago? Myth Gaming are barreling down. Right-hand Phoenix has been taken down, and mid-Phoenix is the call.
Matt Koiz just got gobbled up by Delnyy, and Jarman was soon to follow. Mid-Phoenix is going to go down, and now
enough?
They might be able to just push for it. They're going to try and play it a little bit slow. Finals on the line, heading towards the left side.
They do go back over here for this left-hand Phoenix, and I like this call. Take down every obstacle between yourself and the Titan. Make sure it's as weak as possible. Much respect to the Strictly Business squad and their ability to defend against Myth Gaming, who have all 5 members still here. Nice swing there from oBoronic. Actually hits him there with that unstable vortex, but really just not going to quite be enough. Myth Gaming looking to regroup.
Fatal Ghost has to use the Aegis. Really worried about that ricochet from KeegsMate. So that's going to be a cooldown that Myth Gaming has in the back of their mind. They still haven't backed up. Still very healthy. Relic situation, okay. Some blinks down for them, but outside of that, it's only Keegs' beads that's still on cooldown.
And they're trying to get some minions here, trying to get some help into that Titan room and push up these lanes as far as they can. It looks looks like now, though, the call has been for the team that they're going to back up, they're going to regroup, they're going to finish off some items. They're not quite 6 slotted on everyone just yet. Again, we're only 25.5 minutes into this game so far, so still plenty for them to purchase. Take Portal Demon, get themselves a chance to come back in as strong as possible and make their final push.
No rod up to Hoodie quite yet for Crimson, though. He's not going to be able to finish that off because he wasn't even building towards it. Looks going towards, could be a Divine Ruin, could also be a Spear of the Magus. It is going to be the Divine. Get some more power penetration and some anti-heal to try and stop that healing coming from the Erlang Shen, and a little bit from Kaeydan on the Ravana as well. Patient play from Myth Gaming, but we saw that they got sent here by a team being overly patient. Not saying that was obviously the wrong call. Do think they could have tried to all in the Titan, but they just cannot afford to give Strictly Business too much time. They need to put their boot on the throat and start to close it out here up against SB, because you cannot give a team like SB multiple chances to make a comeback.
Yeah, at this point, Myth Gaming, I mean, their 2 leaders, Delnyy and KeegsMate, at least the leaders of this game, I mean, are already level 20, as is Jumpahhhh. The experience lead really not going to be meaning much more. It's only going to get smaller and smaller. Same soon for that gold lead, so I agree with you. They certainly do not have all night to try and get this victory out, but they're playing it safe here. They got all 3 Phoenixes. Looks like now they're trying to pull out the Fire Giant for themselves so they can come back in, make this final push, and as you said, put the boot on the neck of Strictly Business.
Right side Phoenix will be the first one to respawn, but even that is still a ways off, so Myth should really spread out, make sure these minion waves are pushed, and that's exactly what Jumpahhhh has gone to check on in mid. He can then switch over and make sure the left side wave is pushed. This Titan is pretty vulnerable. oBoronic has got to be a guy who's going to poke out the carries a little bit with that Unstable Vortex, and then try and make the biggest play of his life.
oBoronic was a little bit separated from his team, but just for a moment. Delny's over in the left-hand lane, trying to help bring up that minion wave too, to have as many minions coming in assaulting the Titan as possible. They've already started to reach here from the solo side of the map at this point. Now the mid wave is pushing up too. They've got plenty of help here, and now it's time for the blink in from Inbowned. The Cataclysm immediately respond with the whirlwind of Rage and Steel, but Inbowned very tanky at this point. He's fine. Jarman is the first casualty of this war. Suns fall down on top of the Titan. This looks like it could be it, aggro. This looks like Myth Gaming have punched their ticket to the finals of HRX up against Strictly Business.
What a performance by Myth Gaming. Congratulations. They're going to the finals. Strictly Business had a great season and just could not close it out. Look, we're only in semifinals, but Keegs is already getting MVP talk. This dude just stepped up when it mattered the most, and that's what a most valuable player does.
Such impressive play there from the whole Myth Gaming roster. You can see some of the disappointment there on the faces of Strictly Business. They played well, nothing to be too disappointed about here at this point, but we're gonna get this game broken down for you, and for that, let's get it back over to the desk.
Thank you so much again, Finch. My gosh, at the start of this set, even I was speaking about it, that I was saying, you know, Strictly Business is the only one to really take down Astral Authorities, so it's going to be them, and after game 1, it looked pretty confident. Game 2, pretty even, and then game 3, Myth Gaming turned on.
Well, Strictly Business came into it confident. They tried to invade Myth Gaming along the speed bus. Strictly Business got punished for it. Myth Gaming found a couple of kills there, and then I think it was just honestly KeegsMate's ability to go off on the Hu-Yi that really gave the momentum to Myth.
Yeah, I've been talking about how they were hesitant to pick the AMC, and that is actually, it doesn't matter if you can play that amazing of a Hu-Yi. Absolutely fantastic. Not to take away from that. Delnyy, however, in the other side of the map, also fantastic gameplay.
That solo Beck, it was a hot pick there. I mean, I called it, yeah, I did. But also, Susano, Jumpahhhh, we didn't really know if he could play an assassin over in the jungle role, and he did a great job.
Yeah, Ket was banned away from him a lot, and he leaned a little bit on that Susano, trying to get the mobility for his team there. Even picking it specifically against oBoronic's Janus there. I think that was the idea.
Yeah, the entire draft just really lined up, and the Susano as well, not being a character that is too strong in the early game, they did a fantastic job of like staying good in the early game. Being a team comp that favors the late game, they were just still fine, getting great fights and recovering it for the speed buff steal in the first blood.
Yeah, they finally started getting pressure and an advantage, and they used that advantage to their advantage. They were doing what they did not do in game 1, which was that jungle buff pressure.
Yes, they were invading whenever they needed to. Once the rotations from Delnyy happened around the Gold Fury, they found a pick early on to Matt Koiz. They got a few more picks, and then they secured the Gold Fury. Every single time that Myth Gaming were grouped up around that early mid-game point, they just got something out of it.
They're going to be going up against the winner of Astral Authority and Obey Alliance.
Oof.
The matchup we're going to be seeing very soon, guys. We do have another segment up here on the desk, and then we will be getting into the final matchup of the semifinals. Who do you want to see them face?
Honestly, I can't even call that because both of those two teams between Astral and Obey are just so top-tier elite here. I would rather flip a coin.
Demi?
Same for me. Personally, I'm a bit biased since I literally love the players on Astral Authority. But yeah, like I said, it's going to be a really close one.
Well, again, congratulations to Myth Gaming making it onto the finals. And I believe we actually have an interview on the stage with Gabriella.
Hey everybody, I am here with an interview with the Inbound, the support for the winning team, Myth Gaming. What a crazy set that was, considering just the path that Myth has had throughout the season and just barely scraping to get here. Did you expect something like that to happen?
I have so much trust in my team. They're all great players. They all play fantastic all the time. We had a little bumpy road to get here with a couple losses to Astral, but I knew we were going to play well.
So after game 1, not coming out with the victory, but then game 2 coming out strong, what kind of mental preparation did your team make and change through game 1 to game 2?
I just told them we just got to win 2 games in a row. Not too hard. We did it. It was so much fun, though. Just fantastic.
Now this does mean you got a spot in the finals. That's what everyone's hoping for. Do you think your team has what it takes to bring home the victory championship?
Absolutely. We're going to crush whoever makes up from the other side.
All right, all right. Well, congratulations again to Myth Gaming for that performance. We do